Uvalde, Texas. This kid came in, shot up. How many people died? 18 or 19 students and then 2 teachers, right?
Yeah, I think it's 21 people total or something like that.
So 19 students and 2 teachers. That's what I believe. He got a lot. How old was he? He was 18?
Yeah.
Was he Hispanic? Not like it really matters, but.
Yes, he was. I mean, it was based off of like the names, I mean, you can tell it's like a Hispanic kind of area. I mean, it's, Texas, you get a lot of mingle. You can tell by last names and stuff, it's just nothing like racy about it. It's just, it is. It seemed like a very Hispanic like community area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you suppose the solution is to something like this?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are talking about taking guns away from everybody.
Nope.
Some people are talking about hyping up security at schools.
Maybe, yes.
Some people have mentioned arming teachers, which I think is obscene.
Most of the people that are teachers, they're kind of on the opposite side of the fence on that. So I think it'd be better to have somebody that's trained come in there to do the job, because they probably go through like a psych eval and all that stuff before they come into the school, where a teacher could just have like a bad day and do the same thing, right? That person could too, but maybe he's being monitored. Maybe have a company that goes into schools, I don't know, or armed, like one of the services, and they constantly maybe monitor these people and have them go through like constant psych evals to kind of see where they're at.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This school, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. This school, they had a protocol, just like a lot of schools. They had a protocol already in place. Didn't they have security guards, or did they just have like personnel? Like, I don't know.
Well, the one teacher, they said her husband was one.
I thought there were like 2 security guards, and neither one of them did a damn thing, basically.
Well, I think you need to bring in like trained, like maybe ex-military looking for a job.
Yeah. To this situation that happened, everybody's talking about how it took the police an hour, maybe like even a little bit longer than an hour, to go in and actually do anything to stop this guy. Have you heard? And there's like a bunch of lies going around. Like the cops, people are saying the cops their stories are not straight. They've been telling some shady stories about what actually happened, things keep coming out. I didn't really want to talk about this just because we don't know all the facts yet, but we can address at least the gun issue, I think, and we know a little bit about like the cops' response. There were 2 officers that showed up, and I guess they claim they took fire from the shooter in the school, and then they backed off, and they were outside holding the parents back from going in. Like, some of the parents had guns, and they were going to go in and try to get their kids. Like, this guy was in there for an hour.
Though. Like, again, not just letting people run in there, because, I'm not saying people can't stop them, but at the same time, potentially more kids could have been, like, killed in that situation.
If the parents had been allowed to go in?
Well, because they might not know how to handle it. They might just go in there like guns a-blazing. Like, I get where they're coming from, because police have like certain protocol. Obviously, they do some kind of training for like, I suppose they use it as like a hostage situation if they don't know if people have been shot yet or not. Yeah. Right? They don't want to just bum rush in and get people killed either.
Right.
So I get that point.
Okay, so.
But I'm not saying that's what happened. I don't know, because I wasn't there. But
yeah, so then if you're not going to let the parents in, why the hell weren't those 2 officers going in? The 2 officers that stood outside and held people back for like damn near an hour or whatever.
They should have, them guys somebody, because the whole police force there, somebody should have been in there like monitoring the situation for sure.
Do you think those officers were cowards for not going in? There were 2 police officers that showed up to the school before the tactical team showed up, and those officers were the ones that were not doing jack, and they had their weapons, but I think they were scared. I don't know. You can't make assumptions or anything.
Well, somebody probably obviously told them not to go in there. I'm assuming somebody in charge was like, no, stay back.
Why would you
monitor the situation? Well, because maybe they didn't know what was going on either. I get, but if somebody shot at me, like I I don't know what to say. Like, I understand like protocols and like you doing your job and you're following the rules to like try to do your job the best way you're supposed to. But at the same time, like, I feel like if it's me there and my kid, or like if I would have just went in anyways.
No, you
like,
couldn't.
Are the cops going to shoot me?
Yeah, the cops were stopping you from going in. You're the parent. Cops
are they going to shoot me if I get past them?
Who knows? You're going to get arrested.
Shoot me when I go in there trying to save other children?
They're going to tackle you and arrest you.
Maybe.
While your kid is getting mowed
Well, I'm going to get
down.
in there before they catch me.
Good luck, Errol. While your kid is in there getting shot, they're gonna arrest you and put you in the back of the squad car.
I don't know. I don't care.
That's what those, like, pretty much. I don't think the cops arrested any of the parents, but they were
probably get in their face and be like, "Then do something."
Right, but that's what everybody's freaking out about. Those two cops didn't do anything.
Well, everybody's trying to put the blame on somebody.
Well,
that's the thing too.
I feel like the blame is on those cops.
I feel like a lot of it too is just there's probably so much going on with so many things happening at once. Probably like nobody knew what to do. They never been put in that situation and it wasn't handled correctly. Probably.
Yeah, and I should probably take that back. Maybe the blame's not on the cops. Maybe the blame should be on the lack of training that police officers get. Like they might have been just like, all cops are not heroes and they shouldn't be cops. Like, these guys just might have been super scared to like go in, and they're not willing to sacrifice their lives for these kids and all this stuff. Because after the fact, there's tons of people that are going around going, I'd have ran right in there, guns blazing, and I'd have done this and that.
It's easy to say it and then do it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And someone with training might have been able to do something like that. Somebody with proper training, like you're saying, like employ actual people and give them training, like maybe even ex-military or something like that. Give them training and let them be security guards or security personnel for schools. These are just cops. And apparently they were too scared to go in and like handle the situation because they didn't have rifles and they didn't have body armor.
They've never been probably put ever in that situation before, all of them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know this area. Maybe there's not a lot of stuff like that happening. And it's like the first time anything like that's ever happened, so they just don't know what to do.
Hey, man, your whole life has been leading up to this moment. If you're a police officer,
I get that, but
what happened? Like, you blew your chance, buddy. Like,
flight
to live up to your badge.
Flight, right?
Yeah,
flight or run.
You need to quit the job. That's what I think. Those two people.
But I'm definitely for armed stuff at schools. I'm not even totally against, like, because I, as me personally, I'm for guns. Like, I'm not saying you should get rid of them altogether because that's going to just put this country in a worse spot than it already is. That's how I see it. But, like, that's a whole nother can of worms to open up. But as far as, like, maybe they should raise the age limit, maybe. I don't know. I'm not totally against it, I guess. I'm not against them making it go to 21 versus 18. Like, I'm not against it.
Yeah.
And I'm not against, like, maybe having better stuff stuff put in place to purchase a gun. Because I guess I was reading something, I don't know if I'm right, but this kid and, like, some other people I've noticed are the other shootings that have happened in the past. Mm-hmm. They found out, like, a lot of these kids and stuff were on, like, mind-altering, not drugs like they're taking them, but it's like prescription drugs. Like, they have other issues going on. So, like, how is that? I mean, if the kid is on something like that, how was he able to purchase a gun? Is it concerning a little bit? If he's on an antipsychotic, he obviously probably shouldn't own a gun, right?
Right. And from what I could see, nobody knew. Like, his grandparents, he shot his grandmother in her face.
That's kind of, that's messed up.
Like, they didn't know that he had the guns, apparently. Somehow he got them, and he got a bunch of ammunition. Like, nobody knows how, which is pretty crazy to me. Like, I don't know. It's the whole gun control thing, that's a freaking slippery slope because, everybody talks, like with, I don't even want to say the word, this thing we just went through recently where you go through a chaotic situation and everybody knows this scenario already. People get terrified and the government says, okay, we're going to impose a couple of laws just to secure if this ever happens again, right? Well, when they put one law in place, it opens the door for them. It's a lot easier all of a sudden for them to just add on to those existing laws and just say, okay, now you can't do this as well. And you also can't do this. Now you can't do that. Like what happened in Australia. Australia is a great example of what happens with guns, and
a lot of other countries too.
Well, even states.
You're gonna lose a lot of your rights if you're willing to give that up. You're gonna get a lot of other stuff taken away.
Right, and look at cities. Like look at places in California. Look at Chicago. Look at certain places where they have ridiculously strict gun laws, and the murder rates in those cities are the highest in the freaking country. You know, essentially. So it's like, really, what's the gun law going to do? I've always been of the opinion that, first and foremost, we should have people.
Get a phone call.
No, well, it's a FaceTime. We should have people that are trained and people who are armed, specifically in schools, libraries, even like public places. We should have good enough like security personnel in areas like that, especially like guarding our children for sure is one of them. Like there's no excuse for us not to have good security in our schools in this year that we're in right now. But also the second thing is we should have better consequences for actions. You know, like when things like this do happen, this guy, he died. You know, obviously, like, he died.
Well, a lot of these people
they catch,
they're willing to, like, take themselves out in those situations usually. Like, there's no coming back from what they did.
Right.
So they're willing to, like, lay themselves down for what they're doing.
Yeah, and when people get caught doing stuff like this, if they do get captured, like, to get a life sentence in prison is maybe not enough. You know? But I don't know, because you were mentioning the mental thing. Like, if these people are on drugs, like, this branches off into so many different issues. Because then you go, well, why are hospitals allowed to sell people certain drugs that alter their minds to this point where you take this pill and then you're able to read through the list of things that might come from this. Like, you go to a hospital or a doctor and the doctor diagnoses your kid with a certain thing and they say, give him this pill. Well, this pill creates suicidal thoughts or actions. It creates depression, and it creates all these extra problems. Hospitals should not be allowed to sell drugs like that to people. You know, we should. There's so many like reasons and so much build up to a situation like what happened in that school, and it's like, how do you?
Besides that, he's the word I won't say it, but I mean, he shot up kids, man. Like,
say it,
bitch.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He shot up children, like, and I'm not saying it's right to go into any school and do any of that. I'm not for it. But it's a little more like, it's not even justifiable, but it's like, you can, like, if it's a kid going to high school and he's from that high school, and those kids bullied him and they pushed him past the point to where he did something, like, it's like, oh, like, not what he did was right, but, like, you can see maybe why he was doing it. Where, like, a kid that's 18 shot a bunch of 10-year-old kids. Like, why? Like, what did those kids ever do to him? Like, he's just a bitch because, like, he is too afraid to confront actual adults. Like, that's what I think in my head. Like, he's a pussy.
Yeah, so what's the fix? Security at the schools, right? It's not, I don't feel like the fix is gun control on everybody, tighter gun laws. It's not going to fix that issue. The solution is another person with another gun at that school who does not have the same intentions as the kid going in there.
And the thing is, too, they say all this stuff was on Facebook beforehand, like 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes before he went in there, and nobody noticed it. I'm going to tell you right now, there's probably other signs ever before that even. There's probably other signs. Just know there's other people that didn't pay attention to him or just shrugged him off and like whatever, you know. Well, his parents or his grandma probably knew things too from in the past, but they're not going to come out and say it now. So like they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen like 2 years ago. I seen it coming." They'll never say that.
Dude, he was like a serial cat murderer. Did you hear that?
No.
There's tons of footage online of him. He would put cats in plastic bags and like smash them on the pavement till they like died in the bag, and then he'd carry the bag around with these bloody dead cats in them. Like, there's one specific video I watched online of him, like, holding up this bag with these 2 cats in it. He must have, like, hit them on the pavement. He was, like, into torturing animals and, like, murdering animals and stuff, like, leading up to all this. Like, he was a dark kid. He cut his face. He, like, made these crazy cuts, like, on his face. And, like, he was just a shady, like, dude. Like, it's not a far stretch to see somebody like that and say. But then, like, how do we know it wasn't? Like, I don't know. See, that's why I didn't really want to go too deep into this, because I don't know. Like, was he on super heavy drugs? Like, what?
But it doesn't matter. Like you said, the stuff that he was doing should be a sign right there. Like,
yeah,
his parents should be like, "Oh, we need to lock this kid up," or
no,
you know what you need to do with those people? Honestly, people that are like that are still useful. Shove them into the military and send them off to places where you need them.
Oh, man, we have rules of engagement in the military. You can start a war with another country. Like, let's say you
There's ways around things, though. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
Take that kid and train him and use him in the future in situations where you really... I'm not saying, like, he should be like that, but I mean, if, like, this is a thing that's not going to go away, like, maybe there's a way you could, like, utilize it. I don't know.
I think kids like that...
I'm probably way wrong, but...
I think kids like that, don't you have to get them way younger, though? Like, if you tried to put him, well, he's 18. That's a solid age to throw him in the military.
Yeah, I mean, even at 16, they have military schools. Like,
but who would have to do that? His parents, right? You can't just give the government the power to say, all right, if we see kids acting weird, we're just going to draft them into the military.
Something like that, I wish they probably would. You're going to want to wish they took those kids away and maybe changed them around.
That's a risky move, man. Like, the parents are the ones that should have that power, and they should have that say. Like, imagine the government takes your kids right now.
But even the military thing, you're saying we should have armed guards in, like, libraries and stuff like that, that's almost pushing it, too.
Pushing what?
Just having... I'm not saying it wouldn't be nice to have them there, but, like, at the same time, it almost seems very like other countries where they got, like, the military is running everything. Like, that's where the United States is supposed to be different, right? Like... The military doesn't control everything. Like, it's supposed to be, like, even, right? Like, shared stuff. You got state, you got federal, you got this and that. That's what makes it the United States, you know, versus other countries where you got the military. Like, what you're saying is good as long as they don't take away guns. But now if they take everyone's guns away and then do that, now you got, like, now you just got a government-run country.
Well, right. You're thinking military, like people with military suits on, standing in the library. Like,
doesn't matter.
I'm saying just hire security. Well, you know? What's wrong with a damn security guard?
Yeah, but the security guards nowadays, when you hire for just security, is not the guy you want to be security, right?
That's what I'm saying, though. The standard needs to be reset on what a security guard is. But like, that's very highly trained individuals.
But that standard of people also isn't there anymore.
Well, they're not being paid to do that job. That's why. There's no money in being a security guard.
There's no money in a lot of stuff. That's what people are lazy nowadays, though. Like,
so pay these people.
Yeah, I don't think that's it, though.
18 kids, 19 kids to live?
I don't think that's it. The way people are has changed very differently, too, over the years.
You think people are more lazy and people are not willing to do a security guard job anymore, basically? Like,
they don't want to even be put in those situations. They're like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Security's a pretty big business still.
What, I can go make this much money making videos on TikTok? Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, but what if you can't? Like, there's still... Damn, man, you're drawing a bleak picture for this country.
I hate to say it, but it's true in my head.
I know. I understand what you're saying, and to a certain extent...
I see just even where I work, like the way... You can see the work ethic of people has changed dramatically.
Just trash people. Make sure.
Are our mics on?
Yeah, they're on.
Oh, no. I see 2 red lights.
No, they're on.
But...
It's, I don't know, man. I don't know what the solution is to this except for someone else to have a gun. You know? You don't... Like what you were telling me is like this one time we were talking about guns and you were talking about how you were sitting in church thinking about if somebody came in, like, what would you do with your keys and this and that? Like, but what if you had a gun? You know, like, everything changes. Like, nobody in that school had a damn gun. If they'd have had a gun, or if those officers had ran in there with their damn guns,
would have been
a much different story, probably.
Would have been a man and try to save the day.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's pretty terrifying, though, to think that there's that many people in one building, just vulnerable, weak. Like, we're talking women teaching, a bunch of little kids. You're freaking children. And it's terrifying to me that parents are not more on board with getting more security in schools. Instead, they want to take away everybody's guns. It's mind-blowing to me that that's what they think the solution is. Would you rather have your children slashed up with a machete? Like, or a butcher knife, or a fork, or a baseball bat? Because that's what these people are going to come into the schools with next when they cannot get their hands on the guns. Do you think
people still find guns regardless? Because there's people, some of the people that get guns find they ain't getting guns legally either. They're finding other ways to get them.
Even still.
But yeah, take a car. Like they're gonna find other ways. You can make stuff from your regular cleaners under your sink that'll do stuff.
Yeah, it's like we're sticking our heads in the mud, like hoping that somebody doesn't see you that's walking around. Like it's like somebody comes into your house at night and you freaking hide under the covers. You know,
you
don't want to go out.
That blanket's it's a force field,
right? Yeah, it's a weak approach. Like you're gonna say, "Oh, let's just get everybody throw your guns down." And now what? I'm guarantee you think the mindset is going to change? It's like they think like they're still going to be
They're going to see it easier to do stuff because nobody has guns.
Right. And there's always going to be
like, oh, nobody can protect themselves now. Now I can do anything I want.
Well, exactly. But they're going to do it in a much more brutal way. Like there's always going to be deranged people in the world. The mindset of human beings that want to hurt other human beings, that's never going to go away. Yeah, there's always going to be people that want to hurt people. So this kid... There's hundreds more, and my fear is that because I've seen so many shootings on the news lately.
Don't glorify him on the news.
Exactly, because
the media got to quit blowing it up.
I feel like what's happening right now, because every day I wake up, I see a new shooting somewhere, and I'm like, these people are seeing how much recognition and attention that these shooters are getting. Their stories are being told all over the news. Their childhood, like they're finally getting all the attention they want. People are like, oh man, now's my time. I'm going to go shoot up this place too. Like shoot this place. A bunch of shooters, there's a bunch of killers out there right now that are getting real hyped up to go and shoot places up. And we want to talk about eliminating guns from everybody. Like you guys are stupid. Like... You don't need to get rid of the guns. You need to find a way to kill the guy with the gun that wants to hurt your children. Like, how about you figure that out? You know? Like, when he's in there just shooting all 19 of them. Jesus Christ, how long does that take to do? To kill 19 kids and two teachers. And then the one teacher's dad died of a heart attack. Like,
no, it wasn't her dad. It was her husband.
Or her husband, I'm sorry.
So the kids, their kids lost both their parents.
Yeah, 4 kids. Like, he died of a heart attack right after his wife was dead. Within 3 days, those 4 kids now have no parents. But, like, yeah, let's take away the guns, okay? So, like I was saying earlier, like, they're going to come in with machetes next and butter knives. And you think, like, come on. People can very easily, and then you say, okay, let's ban knives. Let's ban machetes. Do you know how easy it is to actually make your own machete, though? It's not very easy to make a gun. It's very easy to make a machete. Like, that's doable. Yeah. Especially something that can just kill somebody. Like, you're just asking.
Well, there's other things. Anybody can use something.
Yeah.
That's the point. And now you're going to take away somebody's ability to protect themselves now. And like you said, the crazy people are going to see that and be like, oh, nobody can protect themselves now. Nobody's got guns.
Yeah, there's nobody.
So now I can just go anywhere.
Right. There's deranged people that'll just walk in there with their bare hands. Like some dude out of prison, been in prison for 30 years. He's like, there ain't no guns in schools and libraries and police stations. Like, I'm just going to walk in. Like, I'm probably stronger than 90% of these bastards in here. I'm just going to take people, do what I want. Like, you guys need to wake up. Getting rid of the guns is not going to fix the problem, okay? And I don't know, man. It's a terrible...
It's going to create more problems.
Yeah. That's my thoughts. The cops...
Don't glorify them on the news.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't be glorified on the news. And if you're...
Also, maybe they should report about it once, but they should be like, this POS just did this. What a pussy. And that's all they should say.
Or show his dead body. Justin... Damn, we don't have a lot of time, but Justin I was talking to Justin on the phone. He said something interesting. He said we should get rid of social media. Instead of the guns, instead of like trying to, because these people, they want attention, right? What if when you see someone who's deranged,
score, right?
Well, I know, but what if when you see somebody who's deranged and acting crazy, like we're talking about this kid was doing, what if you shut down, instead of putting him on drugs or whatever else. Like, what if you just shut down all of his social media so he can't communicate to the rest of the world? Like, do you think that would benefit any? You think that would change these people's, like, view on what they're going to do or what they want to do?
Well, what he just did wouldn't have mattered because he still did it regardless.
Right. I don't know if that would,
he didn't need social media to be seen. The news promoted him.
Yeah, so I don't know if cutting their social media out would do much.
But he also made a good point about, I read something he posted, and it said, we're giving all this money to Ukraine. That much money we just gave them would have gave each school in this country this much money.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was a lot of money per school. So, like, okay, now, or maybe not even per school, but per state.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how much it is, but it's a good chunk of change.
There's so many examples of how we waste our money where it could be better used, you know, in this country.
Yeah.
There's so many examples.
We'll give everybody else money, but we'll make sure our economy fails.
I think
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure. I'm down with that plan. America last. America last, baby.
Because which one of those? Which one of those? I want to know which one of those countries is going to give us money when we want it.
No, none of them. They're gonna side up with China to take us down even further.
We're just putting ourselves in a hole right at this point. Yeah, but that's a whole nother story.
I think teachers. I think we need to change teachers' perspectives on a lot of things too. A lot of teachers have very bad political views. And they're terrified of guns and this and that. And I think teachers also need to be addressed when we're having this discussion about guns and shootings and whatever else. We need to also be talking to the teachers, because right now I know a lot of teachers want to keep parents away from their own children in school. That's another huge issue that is being dealt with right here, because the teachers, you're basically raising the students. You're trying to, and you're not doing a very good job of it. Okay, you're not teaching the children very good things, and the parents are letting you get away with it, and the state is letting you get away with it. Like, it's a lot of, there's so many problems with, I don't know, where do you begin, basically? But I know it can end with a gun. A lot of the problems that we face can be started and ended with a gun. Remember
I know my kids, like, when something happens to them when I'm around, like, if they get hurt,
I'm going to shoot you.
I'm a whole, like, different person. Like, I go into a whole different mode, and it's not always a good spot. Like, I handle situations poorly when my kids are, like, hurt or I know something's, like, wrong. Like, I get angry instantly. I don't, like, even try to, like, I try to still fix the problem, but I get angry. I get mad at everybody and everything around me. I can feel my blood, like, my blood pressure's up. I'm angry. I'm going to do something really bad. If something happens to one of my kids. Like, and it's to protect them.
Right.
You know, and I know I will. So, like, obviously maybe the cops would have took me down, but I would have tried at least. I would have just stood there like, come on, man.
It's hard, man. It's hard.
I'd have pushed them over. Like, let's get them.
You think so, right?
I had an uprising of people with me in there to at least try.
I know.
I don't know.
That's what a lot of people think.
I know I would.
That was a terrifying situation for everybody, I'm sure.
But we both agree, right? Guns,
we agree.
Not be taken away.
Don't take them away. There's other solutions.
So, but cue the music. Oh!
Ladies and gentlemen, nothing more I can do. Skis has spoken. BTG squad. We're out. Peace.
Peace.